Hello and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommy. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Dynamite Trujillo. Welcome to episode 60 of my podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to any new viewers and a big welcome back to any returning viewers. Today is a really awesome, foggy, and cloudy Friday in June here on the Northern California coast where I'm coming to you from. We have a Ravelry group for this podcast. That is where you'll find the show notes for this episode and all previous episodes. It's where you'll find giveaway, knit along stuff, all kinds of other fun things. So go check that out if you haven't yet and join. We would love to see you over there. I don't have any administrative stuff this week. We are in between knit-alongs, and I think I decided to hold off on knit-alongs for a little while because I am due to have a baby next month in July. So I kind of figured maybe I'll lie low on the knit-alongs for a little while until after I take a break from podcasting, most likely, as I'm guessing is what I'm going to do. And then after I come back, maybe I'll come back with a big knit-along. I don't know. But I'm going to be holding off on knit-alongs for a little while, so wah wah. And it's just sad because I love knit-alongs. I love doing them. I love hosting them, but no knit-alongs for a little while. And so yeah, I don't have anything admin to talk about. So we're just going to get straight into the knitting. I do have a finished object, and it's a little funky, but here it is. It is a crocheted basket. It is a pattern called the Waistcoat Crochet Basket by All About Amy, and I will link to it in the show notes, of course. And I did not stick to the pattern. I pretty far deviated from the pattern. But so pretty much what the pattern is a basket crochet pattern. You can find it on Ravelry, and it links to a blog post where the instructions are. And it calls for 2 strands of bulky wet yarn held together. I did not have that, and I didn't want to buy yarn for this. So what I did is I used some stash cotton, and I did 2 strands of what I think is worsted weight cotton yarn in just this natural color, held together with 1 strand of lace weight, which is the pink that you see in here. And it's a totally different gauge, but I just kind of went down in crochet hook size to accommodate it. And this whole thing was pretty slapdash, and I feel like it looks pretty slapdash. It's a little wonky, but here it is. So the cotton is the natural color, and it did not have a label. It was just in my scrap stash, just a big giant ball of it. And then that pink is a lace weight. I think it's like a merino silk blend, possibly. And it's Fiber Nymph Dye Works in her lace weight in some really bright bubblegum pink colorway. I think it was something like Let's Hear It for the Girls or something like that. I've had it in my stash for years, and I don't know where the tag is, so I'm not sure. But it's really, really beautiful. And I think the marl that I did for this came out really nice. And I really like how that looks. But I'm just not that good at crochet, so the whole basket itself is like pretty funky. But I used this beast. I don't have much of a crochet hook stash, and this is one of the ancient ones that I've had forever, and I don't know where it came from. It's a size I boy hook, and it's one of these aluminum ones that I do not enjoy crocheting with. So this was not that fun to make, but it was really quick, so I didn't really have the time, I guess, to buy a nicer hook in this size before I was just done with the project. So that's what I use, this really long boy size I crochet hook. And I followed the pattern, other than gauge, for the bottom. And that went pretty well. I did more rounds than was called for because my gauge was smaller, it was tighter. And I just went up to kind of the size I wanted it to be, and then I stopped. And then I started the sides, and the first round of the side went pretty well. So you do this technique here where it kind of like leaves this little lip, which is cool. I thought that looked really neat. And then about here is where I followed the pattern and did the waistcoat stitch. Now the waistcoat stitch is this cool looking stitch where it looks almost like knit stitches. It kind of gives you this V effect. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the stitch that was called for in the pattern, and you're supposed to do that all the way up the sides, and it's a really tight, sturdy stitch, and I really disliked doing it. It was really tight. It was really uncomfortable. It was like, especially with that hook, that aluminum hook, I was just the whole time like kind of shoving it in and like, I don't know. It just was not comfortable. It was hurting my hands and I didn't enjoy it. So I put this down for a little while and then kind of picked it up again and just decided to do a more simple crochet stitch for the rest of it. And while it was much more enjoyable, it did create kind of a wonky basket. It's not that sturdy. And you can tell in some spots that the bottom here is like more bulbous than the top, and that's because I switched stitches. But I experimented with a couple different stitches, and I decided to go with what I know as I think it's a single crochet. I did a single crochet for the rest of the sides up, and it came out okay. Like I said, it's totally wonky. I did not do the top edging stitches that she called for in the pattern, which is I think supposed to probably just make a neater edge at the top, because I was just about to run out of the natural cotton yarn, so I didn't have enough yarn to finish it. But I did do these handles that she gave instructions for, and one of them turned out pretty good. I feel like this one of them I feel like looks nicer than the other one, but they're definitely different. But I don't know why I made this. I just thought it would be fun, and it was. And it's, you know, it's okay. I don't know what I'm going to do with it or where I'm going to put it. It's, you know, I don't know. It was a fun little basket project. And I did block it. I don't know if she didn't call for you to block it. So far out of the 2 crochet patterns I've done, neither of them call for you to block it, but I did, because that's what I do. And I feel like it does look a little better, a little less wonky than it did before I blocked it. So I'm pretty happy I did that. And yeah, that's my finished object. It's a basket. It's a crochet basket. I like the idea of crochet baskets or fabric baskets, so this was an experiment. I might try again with, I don't know, a little more experience, a little better technique. We'll see. We'll see if I can make another one that's a little neater. But it was pretty quick, and I'm glad I did it. It's cute. So if you want to check out that pattern, the one that she has in the pattern photo is a lot nicer than mine, and probably if you followed her instructions exactly, it would look a lot nicer than mine. So go check that out if you're interested. Hers is a really neat looking one, but there are a bunch of different basket patterns on Ravelry, so I might try some other ones out too. So that's my finished object for these past couple weeks. Yeah, I'm gonna move on from that because I don't even know what else to say about it. It's weird. I felt weird about it. It's a little weird, but I like it. I like it. I totally like it. And I'm gonna do it again, maybe someday. But not for a little while. Okay, so moving on to my works in progress. These are all knitted. That was the only crochet that I did the past couple weeks. And I have a new cast on. I cast on a new pair of socks. And I cast these on for myself initially and then decided that I wanted to make them for my husband. So this is a pair of socks for my husband. And this is what they look like so far. Now this is some Regia yarn. It's from their Perfect line. So here's the tag. And it's one of those balls that contains the yarn dyed in a way where you get 2 matching socks from one ball of yarn. So pretty much you start at the inside of the ball, and the yarn starts up here with this cuff color, and then it does this self-striping progression, and then for a long time it's just going to be that solid gray or navy color. And then you finish the sock, you have to pull out all the yarn until you get to the point where there's another section of this just yellow like yarn, and then you start your second sock, and it's supposed to make them exactly match. So that's cool. I'm excited that I get to try this. This is what the ball looks like. It's just got the navy plain color on the outside. I am knitting these on a size US 1 Chiaogu mini twist interchangeable needle, and it's a 72 stitch count sock, which is the size that I've made for my husband before. That works well for him, and he has tried them on so far and they fit really good. And I do a German twisted cast on 2x2 rib, and that is one entire color stripe sequence. And so now it's at the navy, and it's just going to be navy for the whole rest of the sock. And he tried it on. It's the length that he wants. So now all I have to do is start the heel flap, do the gusset, heel turn, and then I'm off through the foot. So I've been enjoying these quite a bit so far. They're kind of my only project that I have going on right now that's plain stockinette in the round. So I love them. I love this yarn. I really enjoy working with Crochet yarn, and I love my needles, of course. They're my favorite sock needles. And yeah, they're very big. So I'm gonna probably be working on these for a little while. I do also want to get another pair of socks on the needles for myself, but I am having a hard time choosing what yarn to use. I have such beautiful sock yarn in my stash, and I just can't pick. So we'll see. We will see. My next project is my own shawl. This is a shawl pattern by Andrea Mowry, and it is huge. I love it. I'm loving working on this thing. So the type of shawl it is, it's pretty much a giant rectangular wrap. And here's where I'm at. Can you see the whole thing? It's pretty big. So this is what it looks like so far. I will show you the yarn that I'm using. The kind of gray, beigey, neutrally colors that I'm using for the main body section of this shawl are these 3. And I'm using 3 different yarns because I just didn't have enough of any one color or yarn to do it, which it calls for one color, but I didn't have enough, so I'm combining. This one is some Coriadale, and this is a mill spun yarn that was sent to me in a swap a long time ago, and it's Coriadale fiber from Whitefish Bay Farm that was spun to a worsted weight, and I really enjoy working with this. I like it a lot. And then these 2 are Harrisville Designs, and it's the Highland worsted base. This is the Silver Mist colorway, and this is the Suede colorway. And they're both gray. This one's just a darker, warmer gray. And so with all of these 3, I'm just striping them. And it is pretty obvious that I'm striping them, as you can see here. I have all 3 colors in these 2 sections here, and that's totally fine with me. It's just going to be striped instead of a solid section, and I really like the way it's looking so far. So I'm going to work with those until they're gone. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have enough. And then for the contrast colors at the end here, I've got Harrisville Designs, Highland worsted base, and this is the grass colorway, and this is the wood smoke colorway. And then for the pink, this is Studio Donegal, soft Donegal. And this is a really, really soft 100% wool with tweed in it. So there's a percentage of whatever the tweed is. And it's really pretty and I love it. So those are my contrast colors. I love them. I feel like they're a little 80s, which is my thing. So, okay. So pretty much you start out with textured sections, which are super, super fun to knit. And then you've got a color work section. And it's kind of fun to knit, but as I talked about last episode, it's color work flat, which this was my first experience knitting color work flat as opposed to in the round, and I didn't enjoy it as much as in the round. I love working color work in the round, but color work flat, you have to purl back in color work, which I'm just not experienced enough in to really enjoy because I'm not that good at it yet. So I'm glad. I was really happy when I was done with that section. And actually, as you can see here, I totally messed up at the end. So it's supposed to be one big like arrow like that, the whole pattern. But at the end here, I accidentally did a squiggle because I read one of the lines of the chart wrong. And I decided I did not care. I left it. I'm fine with it. It's cool. But yeah, I was pretty happy to be done with that section. We'll have one more section, but by then, I'll have a little more experience at it, so maybe it'll be a little easier. I did try several different methods of purling color work, purling back in color work. So I did it the way I normally do knitted color work, which is one strand in each hand. And so one strand you're doing continental, one strand I'm doing English. And that's the way I enjoy doing it. That's the way that feels comfortable and natural for me to do it. So that's the way I like doing it. I tried that purling. It just wasn't that comfortable, you know, because it's a new motion for me. So I had a hard time getting it down and making it feel good. So I tried to do, oh shoot, I forget what it's called, but it's this purling method where you don't hold your yarn in the front. I'll put it down here. But I tried that and that also wasn't comfortable just because it was new and I didn't have the patience to really practice and get it down. And then I did for a couple rows, I did that thing where you just do it both in the hand that you're comfortable doing it and you drop every yarn that you're not using. So you're just doing one strand at a time, dropping yarns. That was the most comfortable way to do it for a little while, but it took forever. I ended up settling back into just doing the way I do knitted color work, which is one strand in each hand, and that became slowly more comfortable. So we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna do a lot of flat color work, so I'm not too worried about getting the technique down pat, but there was a lot of experimentation that went on in that section. And I'm really happy to be at a point now where all I'm doing is knitting and purling again, because that's my fun, happy place. I love just knitting and purling. It's so much fun. So the main body of the thing is going to be this color combination here with the suede in the background and the silver mist in the foreground. And we'll see how far that gets me. I really, really love this thing. It's gonna have buttons. It's gonna be super cool. And I can't wait to have it as a finished object. I am knitting it on the recommended needle size called for in the pattern, which is a US size 10.5. These are my Lookin' needles, which I'm really, really enjoying. I really like these. And I really love this project. My favorite thing about it are the yarns. I love all these yarns together. I'm really happy I had yarn in my stash to do it, because this pattern existed in my queue for ages, but I never wanted to buy enough worsted weight yarn to do it because it calls for a lot of yarn. And I just finally realized one day that I had enough stuff in my stash to piece together to make it, and I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. So I did it. And I love it. Okay, so my next project is my Like a Cloud. And This has kind of been the thing I've been working on the most. My knitting mojo's been on and off the past couple weeks. A lot of my knitting time is the weekends. The weekends I like knit my freaking eyes out. But on weekdays, my knitting time is in the evenings after I get home from work, you know, dinner, whatever, chill out the last couple hours before I go to bed. But lately, this past couple weeks, I just like have not wanted to. All I've done in that time, because I'm so exhausted, because I think it's because I'm so late in pregnancy. I'm like 8 months pregnant at this point. I'm so tired in the evenings that all I do is just like lie on the couch and like not do anything. So I haven't been working that much on my stuff outside of the weekends, but what I have worked on the most, I'd say, and like my most mindless project right now is my Like a Cloud cardigan. And I'm still really, really loving it. And here is where I'm at. So that's how much I have done on it. This is the back. And this is the front. I'm pretty much to the point, so here's my armhole, and I am that much past the armhole. So all it is now is just straight up knitting in the pattern straight down. There's no waist shaping. It's just knitting straight down until you get to a certain length. And then do the sleeves, and then you're done. There's no edging treatment or anything. I'm really excited about that. And that's what the pattern looks like up close. I love it so much. It's just a really simple knit purl pattern, and it's beautiful. I really love it. So the yarns that I'm using are these two. And I think they're my favorite yarn combination ever. This is Madeline Tosh Merino Lace in the Gossamer colorway, which is my very favorite Madeline Tosh colorway. I love it. And this is 100% Superwash Merino. And this one is Rowan Fine Lace in the Antique colorway. And this one is Merino and Alpaca. And the specifics of that are 80% baby sturi alpaca and 20% fine merino wool. It's really lovely. It's very floofy because of the alpaca. It's got a really pretty halo, but it does, that halo has the flyaway effect, but it really hasn't been that bad. I've really been enjoying working with these two yarns, and I'm holding them together to create pretty much a fingering weight, light fingering weight. And this is what I have left. It is very, very possible that I will run out of yarn. I don't quite have enough of this yarn for what the pattern calls for. This I should technically have enough. I had enough yardage, but I may run out of one or both of these, in which case I will figure it out when the time comes. Probably by buying more off a D-stash. We'll see. I have tried this on and it fits so perfectly. It's got drop shoulders, so pretty much I just knit farther out than normal for the shoulder cap or whatever it is, I don't know. And then all you do once you get to the sleeves is you pick up stitches. There's no shoulder shaping at all because the shoulders at this point are already made. You're picking up pretty much down here. So you just knit straight and that's your sleeve. So excited about that. I love drop shoulders. I think they are flattering to me. I love wearing drop shoulder stuff. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this little V part here. That's the back neckline. And so I think it looks really good. There was a pattern update. So there was some errata in this pattern. And I got the pattern update where she, you know, addressed the issue in the written pattern and fixed it in the pattern way after I had passed that point. So it's a teeny bit unfortunate, but it's not too big of a deal. But pretty much what happened is right here where you join the back to the front panels, One of these, this one, has 2 extra rows in it than this one. And I noticed when I was knitting it that they were different and just assumed that it was part of the pattern because I listen to the pattern, you know, if it tells me to do something and I'm like, that's weird, I assume there's a reason for it, and there never seemed to be a reason for it, but I did it because that's what I do, is I listen to the pattern. And then I found out much, much later that it was a mistake. So it's fixed now, but now my front right panel has 2 extra rows than my front left panel, which all it affects is the length before the sleeve join. So in the worst case scenario, one of these sections right here will be a tiny bit baggier than this section, but I doubt it's going to make much of a difference. It's 2 rows in fingering weight, like 1 row forward and 1 row backwards. So like 1 complete knit stitch row is what I'm guessing. So I'm not worried about it at all, but it was a little unfortunate because I was just like, dang it. Like, I'm way far past the point where I'm willing to rip back and fix it, but oh well, it happens, it's okay. And I'm knitting this also on the recommended needle size, which is a size US 4. Also my Looka needles. So the size 4 Looka needles that came in my interchangeable set, one of them was a little funky. One of them's great, and the join is perfect and smooth and wonderful. The other one though, the join had a catch in it. And from what I could tell after like switching needles and cords and stuff, it was the actual needle base. So that would be this black part here was like a little bit bigger than the other one. So when you screwed it onto the join itself, or to the cord, they didn't line up completely. There was a little bit of a jog in the metal to the plastic. And with this particular yarn, 2 lace weight yarns held together, it was catching on them. And it was starting to get really noticeable. So I contacted Looka and just let them know that that was happening to see if they might send me a replacement one and it would work a little better. And they did. And it took like 2 days to get here. And I kind of put the project down for those couple of days because I was so sick of it. And when my new needle arrived, they just sent me the one, like a replacement for the 1 tip. And I started using that one, and now it's perfect again. So that was a cool experience. It was really easy to kind of get it fixed. And you know, sometimes there's defects and stuff, whatever. I kept the old needle just in case like one ever breaks or anything. I have a spare. But again, I'm really enjoying using those needles, and I'm really, really enjoying this project. The Like a Cloud, in case I didn't mention it, is a cardigan pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I'm a huge, huge Joji Locatelli fan. I love her sweater patterns so much. And I really like the way this one's coming out, especially with this really subtle marl with the gray and the pink. I love it. I can't wait until this is done. It's going to take a little while because it's pretty long and it's pretty fine yarn, but I am so excited for this to be a thing in my wardrobe. I cannot wait. So that's the Like a Cloud by Joji Locatelli. I'm in love with it. I really, really am. Now the pattern itself calls for 2 lace weight yarns to be held together, one of which she calls for like an alpaca wool blend and the other is a mohair silk blend. And that creates a really, really pretty fabric. And what her idea is that you use the same colorway for both of them, which is a super cool idea, but it's not what I had in my stash. So I really like what I'm using. And I still have not tried knitting with that type of yarn where it's lace weight, mohair silk, really floofy. I am tempted, I'm interested, but I don't know if I can handle it because of my aversion to getting fibers in my eyes while I knit. Because I think that might happen because it seems really, really floofy and flyaway. But anyway, like I said, I love the yarn that I'm using. So my last project is the Ambrosia cardigan. And this is a cardigan pattern by Gudrun Johnston, and it's pretty much my birthday sweater. I got this yarn for the sweater for my birthday from my husband. And it is Brooklyn Tweed Quarry in the granite colorway. So this is Brooklyn Tweed's bulky base. It's a 3-ply yarn. It's woolen spun. It's very loosely plied and pretty loosely spun. And it's so awesome. I love it. I'm really, really enjoying working with it. It's super freaking soft. It's really woolly. It's gorgeous. It's really floofy and really tender, but I have not had any issues with breakage, which could definitely be a concern because it's not a terribly sturdy yarn, just in yarn form, because it's so loosely spun, loosely plied, woolen spun. But it's been working up really dreamy for me so far. I really, really am enjoying it. So this is where I'm at. It's a bottom-up cardigan, and it's got this garter hem, which typically for me, I would change that to a ribbed hem. Whenever I have garter edging on a sweater, I always change it to ribbing, just because I like ribbing better than garter. I don't know, but this one, I just decided to go with what the pattern said and not do that, so I like it. I think it looks good. And so far, it's just stockinette back and forth. And there is some waist shaping that I've been doing. It's happening about here and about here. And this is my Lost and Found Heart Progress Keeper. I love it. And again, because I pretty recently bought this Luca interchangeable needle set, so I'm using it again here because I'm just kind of into them right now. This is the size 11. And this is, again, what the pattern calls for. I did get really nice gauge on the called for needle size. And this has been really fun so far. Like I said, I really, really dig working with this yarn. There have been a couple of knots. I'm on my second skein right now, and the first skein had 2 knots in it, which, you know, I don't know. It doesn't bother me that much. It's not ideal. It would be nice if there was no knots, but since it's a woolen spun non-superwash yarn, it's really easy to spit splice. So that's what I've been doing. No extra ends to weave in. This is my cake that I'm working from right now. And I just think it's a really gorgeous yarn. I love it. I really enjoy working with Brooklyn Tweed. It is a pretty delicate yarn in yarn form until you knit it up, but I've never had any negative associations with that, like in terms of it being annoying and breaking as you're working with it. I don't know, but it's never happened to me. So I'm really grateful for that because I really like the yarn and I'm enjoying working with it so much. It works. As you're working with it, it feels like you're working with a single ply yarn because of how floofy and loosely spun and plied it is. And it's really super crazy soft, you guys. Like, I wouldn't necessarily associate Brooklyn Tweed's other 2 flagship yarns with its softness, even though it is really soft in its own way. It's really spongy and really floofy. This is like, I don't know. I feel like it fits the definition of soft a little more in a more common way. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's soft, you guys. I think you might like it. If you have a chance to squish it, do it because it's really, really nice. And I have, I think, 5 skeins of this. I'm on my second skein. And I'm really excited about having this as a garment. It's a nice, long, button-up cardigan with a hood, which I've never knit a hood before. I'm really excited about that. I've kind of always wanted to knit something with a hood. And I'm really enjoying it. I love this color. It's the granite colorway. And it's a tonal gray with, you know, kind of Brooklyn Tweed's tweediness that it often has. And the tweediness is just other colors of gray and cream, and I really, really like it. So that's been another really fun kind of mindless knit that I've been working on, and it's working up super fast because it's bulky and it's on size freaking 11 needles, which is really rare for me to be doing. But I love it. I'm enjoying it so, so much. And that is pretty much everything I've been working on these past couple weeks. I've really, really been enjoying all the stuff that I have been working on, and I'm itching to get back to some of my other projects that have been off in the corner for a little while, but there's just so much stuff, you guys. I also want to cast on like a million new things, and it's just, why can't we just be able to like do whatever we want all the time, every single minute of every single day? Because that would be awesome, because I would be able to knit so much more stuff. Just saying, that would be great. I do hopefully have a little while coming up. I have one more week of my day job before I go on maternity leave. So after that, I will not be working for however long before I go into labor and have my baby, which is supposed to be about 3 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But during that 3 weeks, I hope to get a lot of stuff done around my house and kind of prep for, you know, my big life change that's going to happen soon. And also do a lot of knitting. I'm hoping to just like chill out for a little bit here and there. And since I have like, I'm going to have like all day, hopefully I'll be able to work on some stuff and have a lot of fun doing that. We will see. We will see how that goes. But I am really excited about only having one more week left to work before I go on maternity leave. That kind of brings me to shop update. I had the shop, Moonstone Dye Works, which is my hand-dyed yarn company. I had it open for the past couple of weeks for pre-orders, and that has now closed. I have kind of shut the shop down for taking pre-orders. I am still working on the last of my orders that I have gotten from that time. So if you ordered yarn from the pre-order section of Moonstone Dye Works in the past couple weeks, your yarn is most likely getting dyed this weekend and should ship out early next week. So thank you. Thank you for everybody who ordered yarn from me and who has been supporting the shop for the past year so that it has been open. But as of right now, we are on maternity leave from the shop. So Moonstone Dye Works is taking a little bit of a break, and I don't know exactly when I will return and open the shop, but it's definitely going to happen sooner than I go back to my day job. I know that. And I'm thinking probably maybe sometime in the fall, probably a few months. I don't really know. We're going to have to see how it goes. But I will definitely keep you informed as to when the shop reopens. And if you want to keep up to date with that, follow the podcast. I'll always talk about it on here. Also, Instagram, I always do shop update stuff there. That is Dynamite Trujillo is where you can follow me and my Moonstone Dye Works stuff. Also, it'll be updated on the website, which is moonstonedyworks.com. You can, if you want to, sign up for a newsletter through my website, moonstonedyworks.com. And I have not started actually doing a newsletter yet, but I plan on it. As soon as I start dyeing again for the shop, I am going to send out a newsletter announcing that, and then from then on, I plan on doing regular newsletters for the shop. So if you're interested in signing up for that and getting an email when the shop reopens, feel free to do that. You can do that at moonstonedyworks.com. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a little box where you can put your email address, and then you will be signed up for our newsletter. So, yeah, I am excited to dye up the last of the pre-orders and then take a little break from that too. So I got a lot of really nice breaks coming up before I have a baby, which then I'm sure is going to take over my life for a little while. So we'll see how many more podcasts I get to do before that happens, and I'll probably be taking a break from podcasting too for a little while. We will see. Yeah, okay, moving on to favorites. So favorites, I feel like these past few episodes have been a little half-assed, to say the least. I haven't really put much thought into what to share with you guys in the favorite section because I don't know, I just haven't. So I don't have anything really prepared, but it was the solstice yesterday, which I did talk about last episode, and it is my favorite day of the year. It's the longest day of the year. I love the summer solstice. So that was yesterday. Happy belated solstice to everybody who like it as well. And today, Friday, is mine and my husband's 5-year wedding anniversary. So that is awesome. He is off of work today, so we're gonna do something fun to celebrate that. Go out to dinner tonight. It's gonna be awesome. And that's pretty much it, I guess. Thank you so much for watching this week. I appreciate every single person who stays to watch the podcast and knit along with me and everything. So thank you for being here. I hope you're having a really nice summer. It is summer now, officially. Happy summer. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe if you haven't yet and give it a thumbs up because that always helps. And I hope you have a really great couple of weeks until the next episode. Happy summer, have fun, and stay awesome. Bye guys.